Alrighty, so hey to those of y'all that are tuning in live and will be watching this on a replay. My name is Unique Divination. I want to say welcome to my space, welcome to my environment, and we're gonna get into some things on this live. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about who I am. Okay, so I am Unique Grisby. I go by Unique Divination. That is my business name or whatever. And pretty much, I've been mentoring, guiding, coaching people since 2006. I've always been in a leadership role. Pretty much every job that I've ever been in, I've always been put right into leadership once they've identified my skill set. And I've always had the opportunity to kind of work with people and help them develop personally, emotionally, education-wise, help them develop career-wise. So, that's kind of what I've been doing, since 2006. And so also I acquired a human resource management degree, a master's degree in human resource management. So human resources, right? The purpose of human resources is to understand, relate, identify, build, connect people so that they're able to do the job and do their job in a productive, satisfactory manner. They're happy, work life, personal life is balanced, right? Providing resources, help developing, coaching, teaching, providing trainings to employees, trainings to staff, departments, to help build them. So human resources is about building, right? And like I said, I've got a degree in that stuff. So, during my work experience in the corporate world and, specifically there for myself too, but, I've built processes, trainings, procedures, help rewrite procedures. And I work with like financial companies, and also companies that like contract out a lot of people. Okay, so those are some of the reasons why I feel like I'm definitely qualified to help coach, mentor, provide motivation, training, guidance on personal, professional, and spiritual affairs, right? So my work background, my educational background, and then as far as my, spiritual wise, I started this business in 2016. I made it an LLC in 2018, but, ultimately I started out my business doing tarot readings, right? And candle magic and creating conjure oils and stuff like that, right? Hey, for those that are just tuning in, you just popped in, I'm just started, and I'm talking about why I'm pretty much qualified to talk on these areas. So if you want to hang around or pop back in or out, that's okay. All right. Also, let me know where you're from, right? Just drop where you're from real quick. So yeah, I started my business with tarot cards, right? And I started realizing with my job, my corporate job now, and I learned that like the court cards, the Briggs-Myers personality test, if anybody's ever heard of that, coincides with the 16 court cards. Okay, so that was interesting to find out. And that's a personality test that I give my employees when I hire them. I set up with human resources, do the Myers-Briggs test. And that tells me about their personality, who they are, how can I approach them? What's the best way how does this person connect, right? And so I started realizing that, tarot and that gift of divination, these tools can be incorporated, into, real coaching, real mentoring. It's totally nothing wrong with that, especially if you're one to believe into like collective consciousness and the universe and being able to receive messages via intuition and decoding symbols, right? And that's pretty much what tarot is about, its spirituality is about. So that's what's incorporated into my my way of coaching, guiding, mentoring. Not only can I provide, my background, my work background, my educational background, but I can also incorporate my life experience and, my spiritual background, right? What else do I want to kind of say about shadow work and why I'm qualified? Oh, so also, I'm also in school right now. I'm currently in school for obtaining my doctorate's degree in human services, right? Human services. And my concentration is leadership and organizational management, right? And so that kind of just ties into my human resource degree. And it just helps me continue to work on elevating people, developing people, teaching people how to be leaders, being individuals, and how to work together, how to build relationships, how to maintain relationships, right? And how to develop personally, career-wise, emotionally. I provide my employees with a lot of tools and resources, right? So that's why, not only do I have the background for it, I'm currently actively working it and going through school for it. So not only am I doing theory, but I'm also doing practice, okay? So hopefully within the next 2 to 3 years, I will obtain my degree and I will be Dr. Unique Divination, okay? So, hopefully that all pans out. So now let's get into shadow work. And what is a shadow? So, we all have demons inside of us, right? Every day we fight against them. Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win, right? These demons haunting us can be seen either in small glimpses or in full chaos, right? And because of our guilt and shame, we tend to ignore and bury them. We think that they should stay hidden because they cannot and should not exist in our conscious self, right? So society tells us to focus on the good things like love and light, but never the darkness or shadow, right? Focusing solely on your positive side is easy and comfortable. And it's no wonder the majority of us avoid the darker part of our personalities, right? So it's kind of hard and difficult to face the things about yourself that you just don't like. Or on the flip side, it's kind of hard to focus on things that you know that you should bring out of the dark, right? Out of your shadow. So not only, it's not just negative things that lie within your shadow, but there are positive things too, okay? But let me see what's on here next. So shadow, a term coined by a psychiatrist by the name of Carl Jung. I don't know which pronunciation is, but I'm going to give both. Right, so he focuses on the dark side of us, which we choose to not focus on. All right, shadow work is doing the work to integrate and heal that shadow. All right, this will allow you to be a more complete person, and you'll be able to confront your demons and your own soul, okay? So shadow work also helps you identify. Shadow work also helps you identify the source of trauma, where it comes from, right? Hey, what's up? So, it helps you identify that source of trauma, okay? So, like I said, I'm going to touch on how you have good things and you have negative things in your shadow, right? So we always hear, if you've ever heard the term shadow or shadow work, you always hear about people talking about how, you just want to kind of, work on getting negative things out of your shadow and, integrating and healing. But there's also positive things that lie within your shadow. If you're a person who has low self-esteem, you're an introvert, you have anxiety, to come forth with some great skill sets and abilities that you have to offer as far as community and for better jobs. Sometimes we don't act on those attributes because we're scared. Those attributes are lying within your shadow. Okay. So real quick, let me just stop. Hey, I'm Unique Divination, right? And this is the beginning of my 5-week shadow work life coaching program. Okay. So I just started. I'm currently on 2 platforms. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Instagram Live. Right. So what's up? Let me know, drop where you're at if you don't mind. And so what you've missed so far, you didn't really miss too much. The first 15 minutes, I just was kind of asking for everybody to drop where they were at real quick, where they were residing at currently. And I just kind of got into where, why am I qualified to talk about this, right? Because my day ones, that's been with me, I've been doing this since 2016, but it's a new scene. I've been gone for a while, so just kind of want to reintroduce myself, right? So just to kind of touch on it again, my educational background, my corporate background, I've been a leader. What is this? Oh, don't do this, YouTube. Sorry about that. So I've been a leader in the corporate world since 2006, and as I've developed and grown in each corporation and department that I've worked with, I've learned how to develop people emotionally, personally, career-wise, and help identify things in people to work on so that they can flourish, right, and be successful as they can at that time, and just learn how to develop certain skills and attributes to be a successful goal-completing person, right? So I'm not just coming out of the woodwork talking about life coach. I do this in the corporate world, right? And I have a human resource management degree, a master's degree in human resources, where I develop processes, procedures, trainings for employees and leaders as well, okay? So I have a master's degree in that. Not only that, I'm currently in school for my doctorate's degree, right, in human services, where my concentration is leadership and organizational management. So again, there's a theme that I have in life with providing tools, resources, and skills and mentoring and guiding people to help them grow and be successful, right? So qualified in that area. I have my own team. I have a department. I work for a Fortune 500 company. I provide access for them and to buildings across the country, including, we have areas in Puerto Rico. So, I'm responsible for that 24/7 operation, and I have to build my team. I have to develop them, and I have to make sure that they have the proper tools and the resources that they need to do their job, right? And then, like I said, spiritually, I've been doing tarot since 2016, and I've done readings for people all over the world. I've provided guidance, mentoring, coaching with my own intuition, my own life experience, and the cards. I love the cards. I think they're really a good tool to use with coaching and guiding, especially if you want to be spiritually inclined. You know what I mean? It's a different shift in our times, and we are open about our spirituality, and there's nothing wrong with using divination tools along with other resources that are backed by education and experience with working with people. So check out my posts, go to my Instagram live, and understand that I've been doing this, right? I've helped over 300 people in counting, right? This is what I do, and I enjoy it. So we started talking about shadow work, right? And shadow work are things, it's focusing on the dark side of you, and if you're into spirituality, hey, what's up, Mary Lou? If you're into spirituality, you realize, generally speaking, I'm going to keep it light here. I don't want to go too deep, but, we have a sun sign, we have a moon sign, and then we have a rising. Those are the three things that people significantly identify with. There's so much more, but understand that there is a sun and there's a moon aspect to you. And just like, visually, if you think about the moon and the sun, the sun aspect shines, right? That's who you show everybody. That's what you show the public, right? And, your moon aspect is the darker side of you, things that we really don't expose to everybody, and sometimes even nobody, right? So shadow is that dark side, right? And shadow work is focusing on integrating and bringing things out of that dark side. You want to integrate the trauma that you place there, and that integration of the trauma can also help you bring out the positive attributes that you have within your shadow, okay? So it kind of goes two ways. And I always like to give this story because it's so easy to kind of digest. So if you guys have been, following me, you know that I always bring this story up when it comes to terms of shadow, right? So just imagine this family, a mom and a dad, a girl, and she has two older brothers, right? Happy family, right? And all of a sudden, mom is in a horrible car accident, with girlfriends. I don't know, she went out. However, she doesn't make it, right? She doesn't make it. And so the dad is left to raise the little girl and her two older brothers, right? But let me back up real quick because I'm going too fast. Like, before mom even died, they were just a really happy family. There was great communication. The daughter was just outgoing. They would call her their little superstar. Like, she just was flourishing. She was a leader. She just was shining bright like the sun. Just had this very bright personality about her, right? The two brothers, were boys, flourishing, happy, and then let's fast forward back to the car accident. All right, so mom doesn't make it, right? So dad is left to raise this little girl and his two sons. So, things change. Things change in the household. What's up, love? People, change. There was a death in the family. Mom is the nurturer. Mom is the nurturer of everyone. Dad sets the rules and things like that. But mom is the nurturer to the children, and she's no longer there. So dad, doesn't have those same qualities that a feminine, energy would. So, he's going to try to do things the best way he can, right? But, things start to happen and the little girl starts to take on the place of the mom. They have her cooking and cleaning, and boys kind of don't help do anything. Dad is working overtime. He really can't keep balance. And, before you know it, the little girl, is pretty much told to just, make sure that she's cooking for everybody and cleaning. Your mom's not here, you got to do it, So, that once bright, shining, son that she was is now, sad, depressed because her mom's gone. But now she's been made to be like a damn slave in the house. And those qualities about her that were once great are now hidden in her shadow, right? And so this situation is creating a traumatic experience for this little girl. And how these things got into her shadow and how this was creating a traumatic experience. And so when she grows up and, when she goes for jobs, she really doesn't put her all into it or try to go for the best thing going for her. She has dreams and she really doesn't even want to live or act on her dreams because that bright personality, that shining sun that she once was before her mother passed away, has now been placed into her shadow, right? So that is what shadow is. And again, shadow work is identifying the source of trauma so that you can begin to heal, right? Shadow work is a tool to help you integrate that trauma, integrate it, change it so that it is no longer hurtful to you, but you use it as motivation to succeed in life, right? So it no longer hurts you. And none of this stuff that I'm saying is something that's going to happen so quick, Some people have more work to do than others, right? Everybody has their own life journey, their own life experience. And, some people may have a little bit less work to do. Some people may have a little bit more, right? I had a lot of shadow work to do to even get where I'm at in life. It took me a good 4 or 5 years to even start focusing on the first 2 stages of shadow work. It's not a game, but the more you avoid it, the harder it gets to identify and the harder it's going to take for you to deal with these things so you can be the person that you want to be, so you can have the quality of life and be in the environment that you want, right? It's all attainable, but you have to put the work in. And in order to be successful, you have to do shadow work. And that is one of the reasons why, as a mindset coach and a manifestation coach, I focus on shadow work, right? Because that allows you to start being self-aware, identifying who you are, and go from there. And that is a powerful thing. That's being woke, right? That's the woke that I want, not this fake, this social media woke, The woke I want is to be self-aware of who I am, right? And what I stand for and boundaries and everything else, what I represent and what I'm trying to do in life, right? And what do I need to do to get there? right? And one of those things I need to do, and I feel like we all need to do, is to do shadow work, right? So, like I said, Carl Jung, he coined that term shadow, right? And so, I created a guide, and I appreciate all of you who's ever supported it. If you're still interested in it, go ahead and click the link on my bio and go to 21 questions, okay? You can get it with a workshop, okay? Thursdays at $7, all right? Every other day is $97 because it comes with a workshop, right? And a journal. You can print it out. And you can work with the 70-page journal. It has each stage, describe what it is, and the questions to go with it, and where you can write on it, okay? So, this is the beginning of my life coaching program, my shadow work program. So, if you guys are here, you guys are getting it for free, right? So, shout out to those of you, because I did not put out a notification or anything like that. I apologize. Sometimes I got to kickstart things, right? So, but I'm here. This is the start of it. This is the first session. And so I'm going to explain the 4 stages, right? In this session, we're going to focus on stage 1, and we're going to focus on the first question, okay? So there's a few questions in each stage. And so we're going to identify each question within one session, one question each session, okay? So there should be about 4 or 5 sessions within each stage. Once this is done. So this is going to be a lengthy process. This is not something that's going to be, done overnight. Please feel free to ask any questions, any comments or anything that you have regarding this. So if you are aware, I am a tarot reader, right? So we will be incorporating Oracle and tarot decks. I have my own major arcana cards, Urban Mystic Tarot. So, depending on the question, depends on what cards I will be using, because I have some cards that are just so deep. And because I feel like shadow work deals with developing your soul, we're going to kind of stick to certain cards, right? And so, the first stage of shadow work. The first stage of shadow work, right? The very first stage that we get into. Feel free if y'all want to take notes real quick. Y'all want to take notes. Y'all want to get a notebook real quick, a journal. Because I'm going to leave this up for a little while, but after that it's going to go away, okay? Each session is not going to stay up, okay? So I'm going to give y'all a couple minutes to get a notebook. Get a pen, Always, I just want to keep y'all aware. Always if you see me go live, regardless of whether it's planned or not, just always try to have notebook, pen around, because it's going to be some jewels, okay? All right, so I'm currently on 2 platforms. If you like YouTube better, go to Urban Mystic TV. Urban Mystic with a K. And you'll see me on YouTube. If you like Instagram better, I'm here on Instagram, okay? Instagram view's a little awkward because my laptop. Here we go. There we go. I got all dressed up for y'all. I hope y'all like my outfit. I hope y'all like my outfit. Do I look professional or what? Right? All right, so we're going to get into it. Denial is the first stage, right? And so this is those aspects that we deny, disown, and reject about ourselves are usually those that we filed away. So just sit with that real quick. Right? Denial. Those aspects that we deny, disown, and reject about ourselves are usually those that we filed away. Right? And once again, we know that, of course, there's negative things, but can you think of any positive things along with negative things that you've kind of, qualities and skill sets about yourself that you've kind of denied yourself, You've disowned from yourself because you just haven't had the courage to step forth in that skill set or that ability or that attribute, right? I want us to think a little bit deeper with shadow work. So, if you have that journal and your pen, I need for you to write negative and positive aspects that you deny, disown, and reject about yourself, right? That you just said, look, I'm not even gonna go there because I don't have the strength, the courage, the self-esteem. I've been through too much trauma to allow me to even do those things, right? So write the trauma that you've identified with, or whatever aspects you deny about yourself, good or bad, and then also write down the good things that you feel like. And if you want to share, please feel free to share, right? And let's go to the next stage. I'm gonna tell you about the next stage. So the second stage of shadow work deals with projection. Okay, it deals with projecting, right? And so we can identify this by paying attention to our judgment of other people. So just think about that before we even, get into the questions. That's the second part of the coaching. But just identify. Look around and think about the people that you judge on a daily basis and the ones that you judge the most, right? Did you ever think that was projecting? Did you ever think that was projecting? You think that you're giving counsel and guidance maybe? And maybe you're just judging somebody and you didn't realize it was a form of projecting. Think about that. So the third stage of shadow work is integration, right? And we want to find those hidden aspects, bring them into the light of consciousness, dust them off, and see if we can use them to make ourselves whole again. Okay, so the hidden aspects reminds me of the inexperienced me, right? So, what can you think about? Just even based on just this, the definition of what the third stage is, integration. Can you think about hidden aspects? Or maybe we can't right now because they have to be identified. So let me just back up a little bit. Just, we want to find those hidden aspects, bring them into light of consciousness, dust them off, and see if we can use them to make ourselves whole. So I know that we do have, we all know some things that we got to work on, right? So right now we can sit and try to think about, how can we use the things that we know we have to work on? Like, how can we use them, to make ourselves whole? What can we do, right? And then just understand and realize that there are going to be some more things that we're going to uncover about ourselves that we're going to have to figure out how to utilize those things to make them whole, to make us whole again. And that is integration, okay? That's the third stage. And lastly, the fourth stage is transmutation. And transmutation is the process of taking something and turning it into something else. Okay? All right? And so that's definitely what we want to do with the shadow work that we're doing, right? And then last, ultimately what we want to do is heal, right? Heal. So those are the 4 stages of shadow work, right? Excuse me. In this session today, well, before I get anywhere, does anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns at this time? Okay, yeah, no worries. I'm going to leave it up for a little bit. I'm definitely going to leave this up because this is the introduction So I kind of want everybody to be aware of what's going on. So this will be up. So yeah, thank you for the support. Thank you for tuning in when you can. Right? Does anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns at this time? All right, and so we're going to get into the first stage, which is denial, right? Those aspects that we deny, disown, and reject about ourselves are usually those that we filed away, okay? And so the first question in this stage, there's 4 questions overall, so there'll be 4 sessions on this, right? The first question is, who am I? And, you know, it seems so simple. It really does. But when we really, you know, start stripping away layers to kind of identify who we are, it's easier for some people and it's harder for others, right? So, you know, it's a simple question, but sometimes the most simplest things can make the greatest changes, right? The most perfect changes in our life. And that's why I love focusing on the simple things in life, right? The simple things that make life make the small things run, the big things run, right? So just sit back on that question right now. I'm going to be going through my tarot and oracle cards right now, and I'm going to see which cards best fit, are best fit to answer that question and help build upon it, okay? So understand, this is for the collective, right? This is shadow work for the collective. If you're ever interested in doing a one-on-one life coaching with me, right? You can hit me up at any time. DM me. My links are on YouTube. If you click the link in my bio on Instagram, and just go to one-on-one life coaching, right? And we can focus on shadow work, or we can focus on other areas of your life. It doesn't matter what it is, right? I can assist with that. So, any other day except for Thursdays, it's $168 an hour for a coaching session, okay? On Thursdays, it is $68 an hour, okay? I don't do same appointments. If you want to book something, DM me. If you want to wait to Thursday, that's fine too. That's why it's there. $68 an hour on Thursdays, and every other day. Other than that, it's $168 an hour, okay? All right, so the question, let me move my laptop out the way. We are in the first stage of our shadow work, and it's denial, and the first question is, who am I? So first and foremost, we're going to do Urban Mystic Tarot, which are my cards that I designed. These are the major arcana, okay? So the major arcana cards consist of the Fool's Journey all the way to the universe. They're the first 22 cards of the tarot deck, right? The other 78 cards are minor arcana, and those include the court cards, the suits, right? These are major. So the reason why this is definitely a good deck for this question, who am I? Because like I said, we're more focused on our spiritual journey and our spiritual healing, and just focusing things from a different perspective, so to speak. And so the Fool's Journey is about spiritual development and identifying, you know, who you are during the obstacles and challenges that currently take place, you know. So I think they are important, right? So we're going to definitely tap in with these cards to find out who we are, you know, to help identify collectively, who are we? And that one just flew out. Okay, so we got that one, and I'm only going to pull one for now. What else do I think? Definitely archetype. All right, because shadow also relates to archetypes, and archetypes are pretty much constructs that we operate under, right? And we This is actually, I have some work on archetypes also because it all is affiliated with shadow work. But Carolyn Miss, right? She helps us identify and has done some research and some work on archetypes. And I've come to understand that we operate with 12 archetypes throughout our life, right? 4 of them, the entire consciousness already has. Like, you're born with 4 automatically, everybody, right? The other 8 change throughout your age, life journey, life process, right? Experience. Those shift and change, but 4 are always constant, okay? So I'm not going to get into the 4 right now, but I do have work and content on that material, on those materials also, okay? So it's very important to identify the archetypes that you're kind of operating under, right? To see what you need to do to fix the change with your shadow attribute and your light attribute, because each archetype comes with a light attribute and a shadow attribute, you know. And for those of us sometimes that thinking good and bad, I would definitely recommend doing away with those terms good and bad and start describing you and other people or just things as shadow attribute and light attribute. Okay? And so I'm going to do 2 because I feel like duality is in place. You know what? I'm going to do 2 for that other one. I just had a little epiphany with the duality. So we're going to stick with 2 because we are dualistic. I was talking earlier about the sun, the moon. So that would make sense. And you know what? I think the card that I'm going to pull, each card in duality, one is going to be the sun aspect and one is going to be the moon aspect. Bam, look at that. Look at how this is flowing. Look at how it is flowing. All right, so I'm going to pull. And I might have to do that. I might do that for the duration of each session. That sounds like a really interesting thing to do. Pull a sun and a moon aspect. So let me get out Urban Mystic Tarot. And I'm going to pull another card on that. Okay. Make sure you share this. Share this. I know it's a Friday. Some people are still at work. I would have been at work at my corporate job if I didn't take off. Right? So, but send this to somebody. If you're on IG, if you're on YouTube, share this with somebody. Somebody may need to see this or catch this or be aware that this is happening. Okay? Soul's Journey, I think, are pretty interesting and relevant cards to this. So let me just write down what I've pulled so far for question 1. Denial. We got Urban Mystic Tarot. We got Archetype card. We've got Soul's Journey. Oh, wow. Y'all, I have to show y'all the card that just flipped out. So we realized that denial is the first stage of the shadow work, right? That's what we're focusing on. Look at this. Look what popped out. Denial. I swear to God. Tell me my intuition ain't kicking in. This is why I utilize these things. Oh my God, y'all. Y'all seen it live. Y'all literally seen it live. I didn't do that. Wow. That is crazy. I'm feeling this. That is absolute madness. How that just happen? This is why I love doing this too. It excites me. That, oh my God. I'm shook a little bit. I definitely got to make a clip for that. That literally just popped out. Tell me my ancestors and my spirit guides ain't here to help assist us. Tell me your spirit guides ain't showing up. Tell me they not showing up. And I'm being selective in the cards that I'm using. All right. Crystal healing. Crystal. You know, that's all about soul. So we definitely gonna pull 2 of these. I'm a little shook right now. That was interesting. Very interesting. Crystal healing. And what other cards can we use? Got so many. Alchemical vision. This deals with the subconscious. This deals with your subconscious mind, the animus and the, I don't know what it is, the animus and the male and female aspect of subconscious. So we definitely want to utilize these for sure. All right. Alchemical tarot. Definitely want to utilize those. And these are humongous. Let me see. These are humongous cards. Humongous. These are huge. All right. So we got 3 of those. Interest, 2 of those. And let me see. We don't have too many more because, like, again, this is a this session is focused on the question, who am I? Right? For the first stage of shadow work, which is denial. Okay, so we want to keep we only want to use certain cards, right? I only want to pull certain things. So the last thing I'm gonna pull is cosmic cards, right? We want to stay aligned with the soul. We don't want this to be mundane, you know, or pertain to the physical realm, the matrix realm, so to speak, right? And so I'm going to pull 2 of these. So hey, for those of you that are just tuning in, this is the beginning of my life coaching program, y'all. We're dealing with shadow work, okay? And so if you missed earlier, I had talked about what shadow is, what shadow work is, the 4 stages of shadow work, and talked about the guide that I have. If you want to click the link in my bio and purchase it, you know, I created a guide that has a series of questions for each stage, right? And so it kind of helps with development. It helps with integrating your shadow, okay? So just to put that out there. So this is the first session. And again, get some pen and paper if you're just now tuning in. Let me see. There's nothing here on YouTube. Chat. What's up, Belinda? I'm sorry, y'all. I do not know how to run my chat stuff. And it's on my iPad, so I don't know how to. Let me see. Highlight, mute, save. Alright. Do I keep that there? There we go. Okay, so. No, that doesn't help me. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me see what I got. Okay, so is there anything else that I feel like I need to pull? You know what? I'm gonna go with these essential oil cards. I'm going to go with these cards too. Okay, so we're going to pull 2 of these. Now, remember, the reason why I'm pulling 2, and it just kind of hit me, one just fell out, as what I'm supposed to do is because of our sun and our moon sign, right? And we are duality. And so the question, who am I, which is the first question that we're going to work on in the first stage, that is denial. We've got 2 aspects, the sun and the moon. So that's why I have 2 cards for each that I pulled, okay? Just kind of let you know. And for those of you that weren't here when I was pulling out all the cards, you see as I was doing the cards, some of them fell out, right? And so as I was doing my set of soul journey cards, literally the denial card fell out, okay? And this is going to be available for the replay. So y'all going to see this, like, that was pretty cool. Because this is the first stage, is denial, right? So, who am I? Who am I? All right, so again, this is for the collective. This is for the collective. If you're interested in working one-on-one with me, pertaining to shadow work and anything else, please DM me, hit me up, okay? Be more than welcome to work with you, right? All right, so we've got Urban Mystic Tarot for the first card. We've got the Hangman. We've got the Hangman. Okay? And we've got the High Priestess. We've got the High Priestess. Okay, so who am I when it comes to the Hangman and the High Priestess, right? First of all, the Hangman is somebody who is willing to make sacrifices. Is willing to make sacrifices. Always sacrificing themselves for somebody, right? And to get the things that they want. So this is, who am I? Motivated person, somebody who is willing to sacrifice for the dream. Look at the imagery on the card. There's the skies on here, and if you really can't see, there's birds. Birds flock in a V formation. Understanding that, the sky is the limit. But understanding that, there are processes and procedures and things to follow through. That's what the birds symbolize. I made this card. So, the birds for me in the V formation, like, everything is divine. We all have our individuality, but yet somehow we still know how to flow and connect. And the fact that birds can flock in a V formation, and be in unison with one another in mid-flight in the air, just represents a level of stability, focus, but it's all natural. It's all instinct. It's something that they just do without knowing. Right? So again, coming back to that question of who am I? Just applying all that I said, somebody who knows what sacrifice is, what it takes, to get things done, the type of sacrifice that needs to be done. This is somebody who, is willing to do what they need to do. Understanding, that this needs to happen, right? And then we couple that with the High Priestess. The High Priestess is in between 2 pillars. That's duality, right? Who am I? You're 2 sides. You're not just one expression. You're an expression of many. And if we want to keep it a little bit simple, we can use the sun and the moon. You're an expression of the sun and the moon, right? And look at this card. There's books here. She's in a cloak. She's in the shadows, right? She's in the shadows, and the moon represents the High Priestess. So, this is definitely the shadow aspect, and that's ironic. That was the second card pulled. This represents our sun, right? So, when people meet you, or, as far as the situation right now, they understand and realize that, hey, this person is willing to make the sacrifices that they need to make. This is a determined person who knows that certain things must be done in order to attain whatever it is that they want as far as success and goal completion, right? And then we have our moon aspect, which is literally the high priestess, right? She's ruled under the moon, and this represents a certain knowledge, wisdom, wisdom, clarity. And I feel like this is definitely playing out the feminine and the masculine aspect, because I feel like the masculine aspect is the sacrificing, the doing, right? Being in charge of understanding. And then we have the feminine aspect, which is the high priestess, which is literally a feminine card. She represents that energy that's soft, or that energy that it comes a little different, and we can stop and talk about that masculine and feminine energy, because people always like to paint Mother Earth as this nature nurturing, energy. And Mother Earth fucks shit up, right? Volcanoes and earthquakes and tsunamis and, all types of stuff. Snowstorms, ice storms, freaking, what's the stuff? Sleet, hail, hailstorms. Like, Mother Earth is about it. Like, she's with it all. She want all the smoke. You feel me? So we need to understand that feminine energy moves in a certain way, right? Water flowing. And then again, it's ironic that this card was pulled, because feminine energy is number 2. It's number 2. So, just looking at these 2 cards is trying to make us understand that who you are, you're a dualistic person. You're not just one side. You have different sides to you. There's a duality to you and all of us, right? Because this is a collective reading. And we understand that there has to be sacrifices done, whether this be on a personal level, on a soulful level. We're talking about soul, right? And shadow work, right? And pretty much I also feel like it's saying that, in order for you to continue to identify who you are, you're going to have to sacrifice, whether that be time and energy, to do the shadow work, okay? So, moving on to the archetype cards. The archetype cards, which I thought were really cool cards. So the sun aspect of who we are, liberator, okay? And so the liberator, it helps to liberate us from the self-inflicted tyranny of negative thought patterns and belief, spiritual sluggishness, poor nutrition, destructive relationships, or addictive behaviors. All right, deals with invaluable ally in freeing us from old entrenched beliefs and attitudes. You don't have to be a charismatic leader to have this archetype. A shadow liberator manifests in corporate, political, religious, and spiritual leaders who impose their own tyranny over others. All right, and ask yourself whether you have a lifelong pattern of helping to free others from injustice, adverse economic or social conditions, or simply from their misconceptions. All right, so if you're watching this now and on the replay, it's definitely who you are to help liberate people. Whether that be through information, whether that be just, slowly researching some things, whether it be, like they said, adverse economic, injustices, you want to inform people. Tomorrow, literally holding a conversation with Marlon Austin, who is a fashion mogul. For one, he has his own vegan cheese company. For 2, and 3rd, he's now into cryptocurrency, right? So providing tools and resources. That is another form of liberation. Providing information to people who would not be able to obtain that information as otherwise, or not be able to understand it or comprehend it, right? So liberators come in any form of fashion. And if you're watching this now and on the replay, then understand that is a part of you and who you are. In some form of fashion, you are chosen to liberate people, okay? And second, the moon that we want to focus on is Hermit. And interesting how this is the moon card, right? Hermit. Hermit literally is somebody who wants to live in the shadows, right? I love how this is flowing here. This is flowing rather well. And so this represents recluse or eremite, withdraws from society to focus intently on inner life, devotes all energies to creative work or spiritual practice. Shadow hermit manifests as intolerance or loathing or fear of others or refusal to help those in need. Look for a long-standing need to retreat into yourself to marshal your powers. So this is showing up in our moon. And so basically it says, withdrawing from society out of fear or negative judgment of others, refusing to help those in need. Okay? So that is definitely something that is identified right now. If you haven't identified that already, which I already know this is part of my shadow, as far as withdrawing from society out of fear of negative judgment, refusing to help those in need. I had backed away from what I was doing, my practice, of coaching and mentoring, using divination tools, providing business resources. I allowed my anxiety and my fear of judgment to precede my skill set and abilities. And so remember, this can happen to anybody, right? This happens to all of us, right? This happens to all of us, but depending on, how much shadow work you do depends on, how you're able to cope and deal with that. And so sometimes that fear, we need to understand that fear does not go away. When I do things, when I go live, fear does not go away, but I learn how to manage it and move through it and let the other attributes shine. So it pushes the fear to the back, right? And then the more I do what I do, the fear just is no longer part of that aspect, right? So just understand that, okay? So this is great. This is really touching on some awesome things. Let me rid of Mr. Tarot. Yeah, so does anybody have any questions or comments so far? Next, I'm going to get into the soul journey cards. And like I said, it was very interesting because when I was shuffling the deck, this card fell out, right? And it's literally the first stage. It's denial. It's what we're working on. And it says, I acknowledge my fear, but I replace it with the insight of awareness. And so denial is basically just our fear of wanting to be aware of something. Our fear of wanting to face that truth, that awareness. And sometimes denial is a defense mechanism that we use to avoid trauma, pain, and being self-aware of us and other people. Right? I acknowledge my fear. I acknowledge it. I tell you all the time, the fear is not going to go away, right? I acknowledge my fear, but I replace it with the insight of awareness. And I'm also aware that my fear is an illusion because I'm not physically in pain. I'm not in any type of harm's way, right? So right now, the fear that I'm feeling is an illusion, right? Nobody's here cussing me out, giving me nasty messages. You can now program your social media to just filter away those spam and negative comments, right? And this shows up in our sun. This is a sun card that I pulled. So denial. So it's right there. So right now, if you're watching this or you're watching it on the replay and you're doing the shadow work, if you're going to do the work with this program, I need you to understand that denial right now is in our sun. There are a lot of things that we are currently doing. The trauma that we want to heal from, we're not even acknowledging, right? But it stops today. It stops now. It stops when when you see this program and you're going through this. I acknowledge my fear, but I replace it with the insight of awareness. Okay? I replace it with the insight of awareness.